said we could add a route for RoomForm. So where would that route belong? Right now, RoomForm shows up because of a change in state. I'd feel better if it got there by actually going to a different URL. That would actually be a little easier than this, probably. So that happens in room list, right? Oops. So room list has in state a property that says show room form, and when that's true, the form just shows up on top of everything else. When it's false, it doesn't. So weak. Let's make this a little better. Let's import some stuff from React Router DOM. So we're definitely going to need route. I think we're probably going to need switch too, because we're going to decide if it is the route for the form, show the form. If it's not, show everything else. And this button will become a link that goes to that. So I'll import link as well. We don't need nav link because once we go here, that thing's not even going to be visible, so there's no need to have an active state. So I'll use link instead of nav link. From React Router DOM. Yeah. So the difference between link and nav link is that nav link will add the class active to your element if you're already on that page. So if you want, like if we were making these links, we'd probably use nav link, because if you're in the Fortnite room, I kind of want it to be highlighted over here, right? But when we go to the form, you can't even see those links anymore. So there's no point in changing their style. So we use link instead of nav link. So, okay. In our render method, we're using an if-else now. So instead of an if-else, let's do this in a more declarative way. Let's have a single return statement here, and then we'll put a React Router switch. And we'll make a route. I like the path rooms/new. And we want that to go to RoomForm, but RoomForm needs a couple props, doesn't it? So I can't just say component equals RoomForm. Does that make sense? Why I can't do that? Yeah, these two props won't get passed down with it. And I think I need those. So instead, I have to use a render prop, which will get a callback. And I'll just do this up there. So that's one route. And then if it doesn't match that, I want to do all the rest of this stuff. So I don't put a path on here. It's just the default, right? If it doesn't match the first thing in the switch, we'll do this default case. And again, it'll have to be a render function. And it'll be all this stuff that was in the else. So it's just a fancy if else. So that's what will be returned from here. Come on, you. Now, it'd be nice if that were all in a separate component too, because this is a pretty complicated render here. I don't like it, but so now I'll take out this whole if-else business. Now my whole component is really just this switch with one route for the room form and one route with the other. This is really just a pretty simple one-line route. I just, because I have these props here, it's going to be an awfully long line, so I spread it out. Get it? Let's see about that. We broke our button, but now if I go to /rooms/new, well, nothing happens. That's a bummer. Oh, /rooms/new. /rooms/new. There we go. So now I'm on localhost 3000. Now I'm on /room/new, and I get the form. Now I want that to actually work when I click the link here. Not so bad, not so bad. I no longer need things like show room form and hide room form. They're not doing anything anymore. Show room form, false, don't need it. Don't even need that state. Instead, my button, which is right here, right? This is the plus circle. This is the thing that goes there. Instead of having an on-click that calls show room form, this thing can just be a link. So change it to a link. We don't need an on-click. Instead, we'll just say link to equals /rooms/new. No, because this is like the third time I've said it. So come on, stop doing that. When you open this thing, it covers everything up, right? So there's no need to have that link show an active state. And that's the only reason you need navlink, is to have it show differently if you're already on that page. But you can't even see it, so there's no point. So hey, it totally worked. Look at that. Click. Yay. But I think when we open that, here we are. We're actually passing in hide room form, right? Not even a thing anymore. So this gets a little shorter. Yeah, I'm going to take this back down to one line. Cool. Heck, I think we can probably...
Does it automatically return that element?
Yep. A one-line arrow function automatically returns it. So you don't need the return statement unless you actually use curly braces here. Since I wrapped it in parentheses, that's as good as having a one-liner.
Gotcha.
The return statement is implicit. Cool. So now the form itself needs to be a little different. What did the cancel button do? Yeah, it calls hide room form, which isn't a thing. Instead, how about we just go back? We do the equivalent of the back button. Seems cool. So let's look at that. Let's look at here's our room form. Let's find it in the React thing here. But where are my props? I should have history, match, and location, right? So those get passed in as long as you do component equals in your route. But the way we're doing it, we're using a render prop, which means we write the JSX, so we determine which props make it there. Good news is, our arrow function will receive those props as an argument. So I usually call those nav props. So the nav props, history, location, and match will be passed in as an argument to our arrow function here, which means we can pass them along. If you have an object containing props that you want to pass along in JSX, you can use the spread operator to do that. Super handy in this case. Also super handy if you just have a lot of props. So that will take whatever is inside that nav props object and break it out into separate props. So now RoomForm includes history, location, and match. Which means our cancel button could call this.props.history.go back. There it is. Watching the URL. There we go. Hit the cancel button, and it goes back. So now we just get to this page by changing the URL, which kind of feels like what it should do. Changing state and stuff to make this screen appear is a little weird. Browsing to a new URL to make the screen appear actually makes sense.
Did we write the go back function?
Nope. That is built into the history object. Part of React Router.
Does it record your like browser history when you go?
Yeah, when you use history.push or history.goback, it behaves exactly as it would with push, as if you had gone to a new page, and with go back, it behaves exactly like the back button. So you could then call go forward to go forward again.
Oh, so like the browser it attracts like the back arrow using our history.
Yeah, same thing. Yep. So, what else here? That's the cancel button. I think our handle submit hides the RoomForm as well, so we don't need to do that, right? This.props.history.goback should work there too. Right? To-do. Cancel. Add a new one. Lols. LOL. Create room. And it goes back. And yes, it still works. Still creates new rooms. Cool. So add a route for RoomForm.
So to have it go straight to that room instead of a go back, you have like room slash.
Yeah, except we haven't written those routes yet. But yeah, we will come back and do that.